Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
So welcome back, you guys. This is your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Moni. Is it late?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't know what time you're listening to this. This is the perfect time, okay? It's not a late time. It's a little late, but
yeah,
we're here
it's
and
how
we're
dedicated
excited.
we are.
We're extremely dedicated, and we're excited because this week we have a book that we're going to talk about, which is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I finally nailed it, okay?
You did.
I don't know why. It was like the E was throwing me off.
It happens
But you don't hear it.
sometimes.
It's just silent. And so those are confusing. We've talked about that on the show.
Yeah, about English being insane.
It's a little bit weird. So.
Yeah.
But anywho, it doesn't make our topic any less interesting. Excited to get into it. So let me give you guys the brief synopsis about our book today. What is the nature of space and time? How do we fit within the universe? How does the universe fit within us? There's no better guide for these mind-expanding questions than acclaimed astrophysicist and best-selling author Neil deGrasse Tyson. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry is an explanation of the vast universe and the fundamental concepts of astrophysics. Tyson takes readers on a journey through space and time, discussing topics such as the origins of the universe, the nature of dark matter and dark energy, the lives of stars and black holes, and the search for extraterrestrial life. Boom, in your face. There you have it, guys. So yeah, I mean, we're going to keep it really light this week, obviously, okay? We're talking about the nature of our very existence.
Yeah,
So,
easy peasy.
Seriously, for people in a hurry, like us, unlike you. So, I guess before we get into our topic today, friend, let's dedicate this episode, okay? So,
Okay.
hands over your hearts, everyone. As usual, we want to first shout out our patrons. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your continued support. Also, this week, I want to dedicate this to the universe because I am the universe. You are the universe. We all are the universe. And so we're here. It's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing because that's the alternative.
That's the alternative. That's it. So
This universe or nothing.
that's right. So what about you, friend?
Yes, I want to dedicate this episode to Star Trek. Today is First Contact Day. Don't know if you know about that in the Star Trek universe. Today's April 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So April 5th of 2050 something is like the year in the Star Trek lore that this guy developed warp technology and it got the attention of the Vulcans. So he ends up meeting, was it Dr. Soon? Something like that.
It was.
You're messing with me. It's okay. I can tell now. But Spock's daddy comes down and it's like, hey, you're not alone in the universe. Here's some Vulcans. We'll help you with your technology and stuff. You guys can stop fighting each other. It's over now.
It's like, but then what are we gonna do?
And you just improve as a species. People there's still competition. Like people wanted to get the best spots and the Federation Academy and stuff. And
Okay.
there's the whole thing is dedication over. But
Dedication.
the thing that happens is sex is still a thing. Like people want to have status so that they can have their pick of sexual partners.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to be able to have that option. It's like, I want to be able to
so
choose.
people still tried, even though they eliminated, the need for, they eliminated capitalism.
Okay. Which
Yeah.
is, it feels like it will
At
take
least
some
on
pressure
Earth,
off. Yeah.
There's the other, the Ferengis were still, we won't get into
They're
all
ugly,
of
I
that.
remember that.
They were not attractive. But one of them was named Quark. And
What
we
does
learned
that
about
mean?
quarks in the book.
Oh. Okay. So before we talk about the book, do you mind giving the people a little bit about our author today, friend?
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
And just as an aside, I mostly know about quarks because of the character, and it's often a crossword clue. It's a very popular crossword clue and used in Scrabble quite a bit. It's a very good Scrabble word.
Ooh, those Q's are always great.
Yeah, and K. It's got a Q and a K in it. It's pretty sweet.
Let's go.
About the author, Neil deGrasse Tyson, a renowned astrophysicist, science communicator, and author, hails from New York City. He graduated from the Bronx High School of Science and later earned his BA in physics from Harvard University and his PhD in astrophysics from Columbia University. Tyson has served on various commissions advising on aerospace and space exploration policies appointed by President George W. Bush. He's known for his prolific writing, including books like Death by Black Hole and The Pluto Files, as well as hosting science programs like Cosmo, A Spacetime Odyssey, and he's also the host of the podcast Star Talk.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so he's a busy
My
bee.
goodness, he's so fancy.
He is, and also very kind of cuddly.
Right? There's just
Yeah.
something about him that's very engaging, and like you want to talk to him and listen to him. So
It's favorite teacher energy.
very much so, very much so. Yeah. So I, with the solar eclipse coming up, that was kind of like what inspired us to sort of go there with space and stuff. So I don't.
So when you're listening to this, the eclipse will have already happened.
Oh yeah.
People, what a beautiful day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, what a moment. It was like,
And you know what I think it's gonna be like a really long time before the next one, right?
I believe it's gonna be something like 9 years before like there'll be the totality kind of thing.
I think it's more than that.
Is it more than 9 years?
I think it's
Jeepers.
more like
Let's just do our research.
2044. I know.
Oh.
Because there'll be other ones that just won't be the total one, I think. Yeah. Because the last one before this, I think, was 2017.
I know there's a lot of people coming in from out of town into our little bird.
This is wild, right?
It reminds me a little bit of a Star Trek movie, Generations, where there's this mad scientist who was trying to get like back into the Nexus, so he had to like time it perfectly and be at the exact right place because you couldn't like go to it; it had to come to you.
The Nexus did?
Yeah.
What is a Nexus, though?
It was like heaven because he had like his planet had been blowed up by the Romulans. I want to
Hate
say
when that happens. Hate to see
I
it.
hate that too.
Hate
I'm putting
it.
it on the Romulans. It might not have been
Okay.
them. Yeah, but
I'm sure somebody will let
it
you
was
know.
one
in
of
the comments.
them. But yeah, it like killed everybody ever knew, and so he was like the same race as Guinan, and so they lived like a super long time, and so like he finally but like no, it
Guinan.
wasn't the Romulans. My bad. It was the freaking Borg.
Oh, I remember
And
them. The
So he
collective.
was, I think, able to be like evacuated and his family wasn't or whatever. And so, but when, or maybe I'm making that up too. I should go back and watch Generations. Whatever ended up happening, he ended up getting hit by the Nexus and he was back with his family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like, that's what they did the escape from, like the evacuation from. So they pulled him out of the Nexus and he was like, no, put me back.
Right, I love
And
it
they were
there.
like, it wasn't real. He was like,
I don't care.
It felt
Perception
real.
is reality, okay? And it felt real. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
kinda
yes,
sad.
you have to, we were learning about the mechanics of our universe in this book. And even though it feels like we're still right now, we are in constant motion.
I mean, it's mind-blowing, like just the information. So like to even be like, you know what, I'm gonna write a book for people in a hurry when they want to learn about astrophysics, because this is about 223 pages if you read hardcover, which I didn't do. The audiobook was only 4 hours. I didn't even finish it.
You didn't? Oh, man.
I had like 45 minutes left and I just couldn't do it. I took a small nap on my couch instead.
That's what's up. You did the right thing. I
But-
honor your decision.
Yeah.
I do feel like this book, it makes it seem like it's like an intro book because this is like people in a hurry. I feel like I don't know that it is. I feel like it was a little maybe level 2 or 3.
But to him, though, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, his life, it must be exhausting for him to interface with other people. Because to me, if this in his mind was like, oh yeah, this is me dumbing it down, or I shouldn't even say dumbing it down, but like just breaking it down into like simple ideas where people can bring it in.
But there was a lot of assumed vocabulary, I think.
Yes, it was.
And for someone like me who's watched a lot of Star Trek, I watch a lot of Big Bang Theory, I watch a lot of Futurama, I watch a lot of sci-fi stuff. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, he did a guest spot on Big Bang Theory.
Did he?
Yeah. So a lot of things like unification theory and stuff like that, they talk about it a lot. So I have, and then same thing too in Star Trek. Like a lot of these concepts are discussed a lot, so it wasn't my first time hearing about him. I was kind of familiar with it.
Yeah, I was.
But did you get to the part about gamma radiation? Okay,
I did, because I learned about that in
you.
school.
Yeah, I was thinking of you because that was the part I kind of zoned out for.
Really? Yeah, I was like, snooze.
Well, it was crazy. It's crazy how our brains are like that, because the stuff I kind of was familiar with, I was able to engage with more, and the stuff that I really should have been listening to learn about, I was just kind of like, la, 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 la.
Somebody's review of this book, it was kind of the same thing. Her critique was the same. She was like, I was listening, and then it's like at first, and she's like, just picture yourself laying on the ground and someone's pouring Skittles into your mouth, and just a few at a time, and they're like all tasty and good, and then they just keep pouring them, and they're like spilling out, and you eventually are just like, I was just like, that's a really colorful. Shout out to you, man. That was on good reads. That had me laughing. I thought that does kind of.
There was a kids version.
Maybe that's what I
that
needed.
I was like, well, because at first I didn't see the adult one.
Okay.
So, or like the regular one.
Yeah.
So I was like, and it was an hour shorter too. So it was 3 hours instead of 4 hours.
But then, right, did you just take a section out? Or did you?
What?
So like you said, it was 3 instead of 4 hours. So like, did they just abridge the version?
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Made it
instead
easier for kids. So it might have.
I don't know, man.
That would be my suggestion. If you don't necessarily have like a quantum physics background, maybe get the one for kids in a hurry.
Yeah, because for me, listening to this was hard. In that I didn't know what was going on sometimes. Like I heard the words that he was saying, and it was like, okay. But even when you talk about exponential numbers, like my mind, like I know what you're saying. Like I understand the idea of a number being multiplied like so many times in either direction. But like even fathoming the difference between like a million and a billion in the human mind is hard. Like how much more it is.
Or like if you're doing like, 10 to the, or like 1 times 10 to the negative 18th power or something like that.
I don't want that in my life. It makes me mad. It's
now
like, no.
do math with it.
No, I won't. Absolutely not.
Can I share a quick nerd story?
Please.
I remember in high school, I took physics my junior year of high school.
Okay.
And for one of the field trips, we went to Kings Island and like had like a worksheet where we had to like find like different equations, like using the roller coasters and stuff like that to figure out how they work and everything.
See, now
like
that kind of stuff is fun. I do like physics from that standpoint.
Applied,
yes.
yeah.
Anytime I can apply it, that's the only reason why I was able to learn about like X-rays, gamma rays, all of that stuff in school. The physics you have to learn in radiology, because it was like, oh, I get to see and use the machine. So like when you're talking about, electrons moving and then like hitting certain cells in your body and creating different interactions, it's like, okay, all right, I can see this happening in front of me in a way. So yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying.
As opposed to quantum physics, which is all theoretical. Okay, so they talk about this a lot on Big Bang Theory about like how there's physicists are basically trying to find unification theory between like the Newtonian physics and like the Einstein quantum physics.
Right.
And because both of them work, but they don't really go together. So guys, get on that. That'd be cool.
Figure that out.
Well,
and I guess I didn't realize that Newton named the colors in the spectrum. Like I didn't know that.
Well, here's a fun thing too. I tried to bring this up like right before the lockdown because, people were freaking out about COVID and stuff. And it's like, listen, if you study history, these things happen like every 100 years or so. And so Newton, he had to leave Oxford, I think it was, and like isolate on his family's like country estate. And while he was there, that's when he came up with thermodynamics, basically. Like he was isolated and he had time to think. And he didn't really like people anyway. And so, he came up with all this stuff. So I was saying, like, during the lockdown, who knows what people are going to come up with? Like, people are going to have, like, time to actually, like, sit down with their thoughts. But as it turns out, people do not like that.
Well, he didn't have TV either.
He didn't have to. Well, no, but Newton did like it. He liked the isolation. I'm just talking about like modern
people not
didn't.
like it.
Yeah.
Well, and some people thrived in it. You know, like I was just talking to somebody. Was that today?
Well, maybe yesterday. At this point.
Right. But it was they were just saying like how much they thrived during COVID because they did have like, I had a garden and I was like working out every day. My house was clean.
I was painting.
And and I was like, I had to go to work still. But I wanted that. Like I wanted to be able to like check out from this shit for a little bit and just really focus on just living life or whatever.
Or thermodynamics.
No.
Okay.
It's not for me though, but maybe, like you said, I mean, that person has to be out here somewhere who knows.
And he talks a lot about gravity. I'm fascinated by gravity. It's just something we really take for granted, but it does.
It holds shit together. Like, I guess I didn't really realize how central it is to creation and like just matter in and of itself.
Our passage of time.
See, and that'd be messing me up too when we start talking about
like,
that.
You can have like gravity wells.
Yeah, it's weird.
And just how like it can affect like light. It's very, very interesting.
Man.
But it is sometimes like I get to stuff too where I'm like, I don't want to think about that. And then you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Because your body belongs to you, and that includes your brain ball.
It's very, very true. But yeah, just even him talking about like the dark matter, like I guess in space and how it's inexplicable. Like they don't even really know.
And there's not like, they used to think like there'd be an equal amount of matter and antimatter, but it's not. They actually talked about that on Big Bang Theory too. Like Sheldon and Amy came up with the idea of super asymmetry.
What's that mean?
Basically that they've been trying to come up with a theory of supersymmetry to explain
maybe it's not
like
symmetrical.
maybe it's and then spoilers for Big Bang Theory, they end up winning the Nobel Prize for science.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Really?
But
so,
just pretend.
So watch Big Bang Theory too, because then you get some of the vernacular.
It does help. Like a lot of times shows that just bake it into the entertainment, I was just like,
I'm learning.
like especially Star Trek for real. I was like, wow. They got a lot in there.
Star Trek is always doing stuff.
They are.
And another thing that this reminded me of was just like I've always been sort of fascinated just with space. Like of course in fourth grade, everybody probably loves space. Like you start really learning about it. Did you?
I've always been obsessed with space.
Yeah,
I remember one time like trying to date someone. And I think I asked him, like, well, just a question about space or something.
What do you think about space?
And he was like, I've never thought about it. And I was like,
you've never thought about space, not once?
And I was like, we can't be together.
I think about space when I wake up.
All the time. Like, it was nighttime, we're looking at the sky.
What? It still didn't. It's like I've never.
So you don't think anything? I'm like,
my gosh.
I think for people like that, it's easy to get swayed by the flat earther stuff. Because you're not really thinking about because even with the flat earthers, like with this eclipse coming up, it's like, okay, explain your model.
Show me, draw a picture.
Show me with this.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure there is I would love to see the diagram of that, but you know what I mean. Actually, animate it for me too, because I'm a simple gal. Like I just want to see it. Just break it down.
It's like, but I get it. The Earth looks flat to you because you're small. Compared to the Earth. I am I don't know, like I've just always felt this sort of amazement towards space, and the first time that I went on a cruise was the first time that I really saw the stars. Like I didn't realize that I hadn't seen have y'all seen the stars? Y'all haven't seen it for real.
See the stars. Like because there's no lights and it's so dark. Like you can't even really see the ocean. I found a little spot in the back of the cruise ship. And I had my Lauryn Hill, Miss Education playing in my ear. It was. Because yes, it was.
It was the 1900s.
And I just got it. It was the picture this, 1998.
It's middle of the ocean.
Okay, CD player. Okay.
But that's a vibe though. I'm so glad you got to have that experience.
It was such a, between the music, creating its own little universe inside of my soul, and then like observing the stars, like it was transformative. Like in fact, it was when I decided I loved traveling. I mean, I always liked it, but just being able to see the world in a different way was like, man, I need to see more of this. And yeah, I mean, I've just always thought it was pretty fascinating. And the fact that we're made from stardust takes me out, man. Like literally from the calcium in your bones, you know, like it's the carbon, like everything that's in space. Like we were in the stars at one point. That is, you guys.
That's crazy to think about.
Crazy.
But it's interesting historically how there's been this resistance to maybe learn about cosmology because it makes us feel small. And people want to feel like the center of I think you touched on that. Like it makes you want to, because it's interesting to me that a lot of very controlling organizations block this information. Like they don't want you to learn about it. Even I was learning about like the prairie dress cults and stuff like that. Like they were taking like basically the astronomy out of the science books because they didn't want, because I mean they were basically using it to like, you know, oppress women.
Of course.
And they didn't want them to learn about the larger universe and the fact that if you study the stars you can escape. Like,
man,
and ask the underground.
Well, and that is so crazy too. Like there's just so much information there. And even before there was like a formal study of it, they were able to map that stuff out. And then you compare ancient cultures, like before they had any of that, it's like it lines up. Like they were referring to stars in the same way, in the same place.
Because it's the agreement. Like even when he was talking about like if we were to make contact with like an alien species, like we would probably have to do it through the language of science. Like it's like, here's a hydrogen atom. We discovered that too because we wouldn't necessarily like, they might not have mouths. They might not talk.
We don't know.
Yeah. So it's
it's just wild though. So that took me out, and took me back to a place of just really contemplating the universe itself and being like, dang, like we are really
we're just out here,
you know. and then having that balance of being in awe of it, and being okay with, you know, like we are small, but also too, this experience is so special because I mean, as far as we know, it's the only one like this. So if you think about it from the molecular, so shrinking it down, the likelihood that you are even here having this lived experience is so unlikely. Like there's so many combinations of people that could exist, and the fact that we exist is just nuts. So it takes me out. So I mean, and it seems pretty random. It's not like I was any more special than any other group of molecules and cells and, you know, whatever, stardust that got gathered together and made a person. But so hearing that makes me feel happy about being here in a way that I don't think about all the time. But it's like, you know, it's good to be reminded about that.
How extraordinary this experience is. Yeah, we're pretty great.
It's pretty cool. So what surprised you, if anything, about the book? Was there anything that you learned about or heard about that you were like, yo, that's fucking crazy right now?
Let me see. Because once again, like these were all things that were pretty familiar to me. Let's see.
Picture me as with a bag of Skittles being poured in my mouth.
Okay.
And being overwhelmed. It was almost like, I think maybe I would have benefited from reading this book as opposed to listening to it.
Okay, I like the quote because this is one of his favorite quotes. This isn't really answering your question, but I just thought this.
That's okay. Do it.
The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you.
Absolutely.
And I think that is what he started the book with, and it was a really good starter because a lot of quantum like mechanics is very anti-intuitive. Like things like superposition, and there's just these things where we feel like, you know, I'm fixed and this is this, but you'll end up yes, there it is.
Good one.
I think some of the stuff about Einstein, about him, the
theory of relativity.
Was it
lambda?
Lambda, yeah.
So there was some equation that he came up with that he had this variable for, that was like a fixed constant in the universe, and then it was like it got disproved.
Yeah, he said it was his biggest blunder, but then they were like, "Oh no, he was right."
He came back and they were like, "No, we're pretty sure that's dark matter because it's something that's in the equation that we."
And he pointed out that since Einstein was Jewish, he was like there was certain sciences that were only like Jewish people were allowed to do.
Oh.
Because, you know, he had to escape like Nazi Germany and stuff. So, like, it's interesting that he made it pop. Like, no one thought this was going anywhere. And he was just kind of like, no, I'm going to take it somewhere.
Man, Einstein is fascinating too.
He is. And I feel like they don't bring up enough of, you know, everybody knows he's smart and all the physics stuff, but he was also very much a civil rights activist. Like, having seen the Holocaust, he was like, and to come to America and be like, y'all doing the same thing.
And I understand space.
Yeah,
And
like
you guys are all dust.
you guys are the same thing.
It's the
like
same stuff.
you're like just how anti bigotry he was. And this was something I meant to bring up last week. I listened to a lot of podcasts, I listened to a lot of things in the pop culture, and something I feel like I hear a lot from black men is sort of
here she goes.
I know, right? Not just black men.
This takes us back
but
to our ball sack couch
especially,
that we're sitting
to me,
on.
it surprises me to hear it from black men.
Okay.
I'll put it that way, because
Okay.
you hear it from everywhere, but just a lot of anti-Semitism. Where it's just
really?
like certain people, and they'll be like, who control the media, or who control Hollywood, or who control the money, like stuff like that. But it's like, for one, you're sort of perpetuating a narrative that serves your oppressor. So congratulations there. And then secondly, if you look into the history as to why these people are in finance or in Hollywood, it's because back in the day, those were the only industries that they allowed Jewish people to work in, because there were usury laws. So Protestants, you know, Christians wouldn't do certain sort of money lending, and so it was regulated to Jewish communities, and then they made money off of it, and then people hated them for it. And then also with Hollywood started off as vaudeville, and that was something that, you know, Jewish people were allowed to work in, and it just evolved into Hollywood and became something powerful. But it's not just because there's like some secret. The only secret conspiracy was for white people to be mean to Jewish people. That was the
No. That's always the worst one.
Yeah.
Is it not? It's like,
yeah,
this one, I'm so tired of that
was the
story.
general conspiracy. So whenever you hop on it's the Jews, it's like, okay, you're just doing what, you know.
Right, like that's the narrative that gets pushed, and so it's like, okay, here we go with that. But
It's
okay.
always super dumb. So yeah,
Oh,
you should.
man. We're all stardust, guys.
Yeah, it's all the
okay?
same. Whenever you find yourself like pointing at a whole group of people saying it's them, you're doing life wrong.
Ooh, yeah.
You're doing life wrong.
That's a path we don't want to go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, I already said about the rainbow. Like I mean, I felt like even though I love science, it's just, again, like it's hard for me when it's not being applied. So again, like I think I might have benefited from physically reading this book, stopping, looking stuff up. Yeah, like I think that's probably
I
helpful.
almost downloaded that
The
instead of the
guide.
actual book.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. But I'm okay with not understanding stuff either.
Me
too. And I loved hearing him talk. Like,
he is fun. He's got a great voice.
he's got a great voice, and I want to say he I'm sure in all of the accolades, because you read, I had it kind of like condensed down, but there was a Grammy or something for one of his. It might have been, I don't know if it was this book or it was a nomination or something for his spoken word or whatever. Yeah, but I really enjoyed listening to him, and I was thinking, man, so Star Talk, is that what it is? Star Talk?
The podcast.
The podcast started off as a National Geographic show.
Because they record at the planetarium.
Yes, and I want to see that. Like, I'm
'Cause it
like,
would
now
come
I
on
want to go
NPR.
back. Yeah, I love NPR.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I want to go back and watch it, because the whole time I'm listening, I was picturing things, and I'm like, I want the visuals to go with this. Like, I want to see,
I'm
like,
glad you said that, because what I was going to recommend to people, if like maybe this was a little too much for you, to go and watch Cosmos.
yeah,
Which was a reboot of Carl
Cosmos.
Sagan's show,
Let's
like back
go.
in the day.
Another
They did a
astrophysicist.
reboot, but there's so many visuals, and I think that helps.
like
and it's
that.
broken down into, it's longer.
Like, just draw
so
pictures
you
for me.
can-
That's basically what it comes down to. And I don't know if that's reductive for some folks who feel
No,
like, well, the
visual
book, let's
learners.
go to. But yeah, I'm totally a visual learner. So if you're like me,
Yeah.
something like that might work. Also, yeah, having read this, like I probably needed to like really read it, because I probably would
and like take notes.
take some notes, look some stuff
Yeah.
up, and then just to really kind of break it down.
Or
but
just watch Star Trek. You
Yeah.
totally get it.
But it's so
they
much
have to
Star
use
Trek,
science
though.
to solve the problem, so they have to explain it to you.
yeah, and then they're using stories to explain it too, and that's probably why it's easier to learn. I don't know why I'm
is.
fighting it.
To watch Star Trek now, that would take
It's
so much
just
of your
a
time.
lot. I know,
watched
it's so
it back
much
when
Star
I had a
Trek.
lot of free time.
Yeah, it's like it's already downloaded to the hard
Yeah.
drive now.
Even though I've been watching Picard.
Is it
on-
good? Ooh. It's all right.
I have notes, but I'm enjoying it. I'll put it
Okay.
that way.
All right.
Like, it's not. If it was like your entry into Star Trek, no,
Okay.
that it shouldn't be your entry point.
No.
Because it's a lot of fan service, like it's a lot of bringing back characters. It's a lot of, I was really irritated with Guinan, so Whoopi Goldberg's character. Like, there's a young
her
version.
name was Guinan?
Yeah.
Oh.
So when they went back in time, there's a young Guinan, and her wig is just terrible. I hate it so bad.
It's a distraction.
It is.
Now I can't even learn anything about the science because the wig, the science of that wig, like
because I'm
whoever's
like,
job that
really?
was.
It's like, this is where we drew the line at the budget? And
The
and
line
I
is always
feel like-
drawn in black women's hair, and they be playing in our faces on that bullshit. I don't like it.
I was, I'm going to send you a screenshot of it later.
No, I'm looking it up now while you talk.
Okay.
Guinan's hair in the new
In
Star Trek.
Picard is the name of the series.
I don't know how to spell Guinan. Is it a U in it?
I don't even know.
Hair in Star Trek.
Well, you can't just say Star Trek. You have to say Picard.
Damn it.
Because Star Trek's a lot of stuff.
Right.
It's a lot of intellectual properties.
No.
Actually, why don't we go to a break?
We'll be right back. Well, we're back. We did find a picture of Guinan's hair,
It wasn't great.
and I laughed, and I took a screenshot of it. So hopefully, Kat shares that. If she feels
Yeah.
like it. But yeah, the budget for black hair in lots of movies sucks a lot, and
It
that's really
does.
unfortunate because it's like,
it doesn't feel like they're trying all that hard. You know where
yeah,
they
come
were?
on.
I remember Disney Channel. They
Not
were
oof.
notorious for
Messing
just
up the hair.
throwing on a bad wig on a little black girl.
And it's a larger problem. I know this isn't what the show is about today, but if you can imagine, I'm going to bring in racism here, guys. And I think you brought this up.
Not on the fat
I know, I hate to
podcast,
do it. It
no.
kind of, it's a bummer or
Racism
whatever.
on the fake ass book
I
club?
know.
How would we even begin to talk about it?
It's not like us, but I just want to go there quickly. Stay with me.
Okay.
So this is going to go back to why Guinan's hair is terrible.
Okay.
But I think a lot of times on the sets, they don't have people who can deal with textured hair. You know what I'm saying? So like no matter what your nationality or ethnicity is, and then that's a larger problem because in beauty college they don't teach you about black hair. Like it's not on the test.
And that's not
And
on the board.
unless you're in a cosmetology school or a barber college that is in a black area that services black clients and you have black teachers, you just don't learn. Like I've seen so many videos. Recently I saw a video of a young lady in Japan or China getting her hair done, and it was a whole fiasco and spectacle. They stopped before they got even done with her hair, trying to blow dry it and flat iron it and stuff, and they just gave up. And I was like, this is crazy. So to me, I mean, it starts where the education is. Like, first of all, you got to teach these people how to do textured hair, because how do you know how to do hair, but there's certain ones you don't know how to do? I just feel like that's weird. I don't like there being parts of my job that, even if I'm not great at it, I want to still learn it so that I can say, you know what, I can get through it, or I can let you know what I can do. And it's like, this is where my skills stop. But so if regular people, like if I were to go into a shop where, predominantly white, like I'd have to find the lady who has curly hair in there, or somebody who's had some experience, or else my hair's getting fucked. So
it's dangerous out here.
it is. And you hear so many actresses talk about it. We've talked about it on our show. So full circle back to the, whoever slapped that on her head ought to be, actually, again, too, that's probably budget. But yeah, just the whole thing. Like, they shouldn't have did that. That's terrible.
I'm sorry. Even with like low budget, like there's girls in the hood whose hair looks
Better than that.
Like, for
Thank
real.
you. They got better wigs on TikTok,
They
man.
do.
For, under $200. Like,
They do.
y'all didn't
It's
have
like
to do
y'all
that.
didn't even go to where did you even go to find a wig that bad?
You could have went on Temu and found a better wig than
Probably. Once again, we could have come up with so many other ideas than just.
Right. They were in space. It could have, like you said, it could have been anything.
Well, no, this was on Earth.
Oh, man. Damn it.
This was on
Shit.
Earth, but it was.
Well, then there's
still-
no excuse then.
Yeah, they were. I feel like they were in California, so they're, you're.
Damn shame.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I think I want to rate the book.
Let's do that, friends. Rate the book.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 quarks.
Oh, okay.
Which are just quantum particles. They're cool.
Quantum particles. Well, I can't rate it because I didn't finish it,
Yeah.
but I will say I enjoyed listening to him talk, and it was just nice to be reminded about how beautiful and just vast the universe is. And I don't know, like I'm okay with not knowing, and it was just a cool reminder of like, dang man, we come from that. That's pretty cool.
It is.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I liked it. Oh, you know what? Before we wrap that, there was a quote, because I like the quote that you did. That was a really
Damn.
great one. Let's see. This one,
Shout out to NGT.
not NGT. I guess I won't read the whole thing, but Richard Dawkins, Unweaving the Rainbow, Science, Delusion, and the Appetite for Wonder. This is a book.
I've read
from
that.
1998. Have you? Did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
It's just Richard Dawkins. He's sullied his reputation. But let's hear the.
Oh no, he sullied it. Should I not
a
read
little,
it? Is it
no,
innocent?
I mean he's still right about some things and just wrong
Oh.
about others.
Okay, all right. Well, this one, he said, we're gonna die, and that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never gonna die because they are never going to be born. The potential people who could have been here in this place, but who will in fact never see the light of day, outnumber the grand sand grains of Arabia. Certainly those unborn ghosts include greater poets than Keats, scientists greater than Newton. We know this because of the set of possible people allowed by our DNA so massively exceeds the set of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying odds. That's weird. I've never heard that said like that.
He's British.
Okay, so in the teeth of these stupefying odds, it is you and I and our ordinariness that are here. We're the privileged few who have won the lottery of birth against all odds. And how dare we whine at our inevitable return to that prior state from which the vast majority of us have never stirred. And I just thought,
Yeah. He's got some
That's
bangers.
pretty
He's a very good
good.
writer. He's very eloquent. Where he's been messing up lately is he's a TERF, so a trans exclusionary feminist or whatever. Like he's anti-trans basically, which is so bizarre because he's an evolutionary biologist. So it feels like in your line of study, understanding that people can be trans shouldn't be that difficult.
Oh, no.
Because you have to study genetics and stuff. So
He skipped that chapter. He said,
what's
hated
crazy is
it.
I've learned so much about genetics from, Richard Dawkins. Like he does, a lot of speeches and stuff on YouTube I've listened to. That's why I found the book. And it's a good book. I would still recommend the book. He doesn't talk about it. It was before like
All of
came
that
in.
stuff.
Yeah, all that
Okay.
stuff. But just
He was
putting
still
that
learning how to be
caveat-
anti-trans.
Yeah, like I said,
Okay.
I'm still the type of person where it's like I'm not willing to throw out someone's entire body of work because they're wrong about a particular subject.
Well, what if, Einstein, what if we had thrown out his stuff when he thought he was wrong? I mean, sometimes you want to be able to improve on stuff. That's the whole thing, the evolution, and just continue learning, and it's okay. But I just thought that summed it up pretty good. I think we should probably spin the wheel then, friend.
Yes.
Spin it!
Ah.
Yay! Up next, guys, Dolly Parton, Behind the Seams. I am so excited to read this.
I love Dolly Parton. During the Patreon, we were discussing Steel Magnolias and how
Great
much
movie.
I love that film. She played Truly the hairdresser, and I think that partly inspired me to do hair. Like I just
Listen.
love how she helped people because everybody would come and there's nothing like having that community and stuff like that. And she's on Beyonce's new album.
Gosh,
which
don't
was
even get me started.
Pretty amazing. So, and I can't wait to talk about her because she does so many things. And she's got cake mixes.
Dolly's iconic.
I was
man.
actually, because my daughter's been baking a lot, I was like, I bet if I buy her this, she'll just make it.
Just set it in there.
Because I've been wanting some yellow cake with chocolate icing. I've really been craving that.
I mean, I'd take a piece myself. That sounds pretty good.
I used to,
Man.
Love those. So yeah, I think I'm glad that we have a book to come back to next week.
I am too. I'm definitely feeling this because, like I said, I think this was inspired mostly by, the Beyonce album and just reigniting. I've always, like you said, been a fan of Dolly. She's so quirky and personable and
That little
relatable and
voice.
talented and just fancy and sweet. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about her next week too. Oh, I wanted to say, you guys, Middle Ground Comedy Fest, April 27th. We'll be there live. We will have some guests on our show. We have Dwight Simmons, we have Tina McDonald, and Deion Curry, all comedians, all fabulous friends of the show. So that's going to be really fun. I'll have a link that I can share with you guys that if you are interested in the Indianapolis area, please do come out and support us for that. We also have PopCon, which is at the Indiana Convention Center, Sunday, April 28th. And I think we're going to be talking about nerd shit. I
definitely want to. Oh, guys, send us some ideas for cosplay. Like, what kind of cosplay do you want to see us in? I know what I want to do, but, I'm always, I want to be more open to listening to advice.
Dress her up, guys. How do you want to see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
I want to be Storm, though.
So, there you go. Who's going to be mad about that?
But who are you going to be?
I didn't say I was cosplaying. Ding. So anyway, guys, Convention Center, Sunday, April 28th. Come check us out. We'll be there. It's just going to be a good time. I've never been to a con before. A pop con, any kind of con.
You've been
Black
to some
Black
conferences.
Expo.
Yeah.
Black
You've been to some
Expo.
conferences,
But like
not
one
nerd cons. No nerd cons.
I haven't been to one. So this will be interesting. Hopefully they like us.
Of course, we have universal appeal. That's what I wanted to bring up. I'm so glad I had that thought.
Really?
Because with the eclipse, having just come and stuff like that, whenever I hear eclipse, I think of the Misfits song Universal Appeal from
Wow.
Jim and the Hologram.
Are you going to sing it?
A little bit.
And hit it.
It's a total eclipse. The moon's overtaking the sun. Yeah. It's a total eclipse. We're coming to visit. You'll be left in the shadows when I get done. For I've got universal appeal, baby. Oh, wait. I wanted to skip to the end because it's a whole song. Or maybe I'll play it at the end when we're dancing. I don't know. When my mind's
Because she's the universe.
Yeah.
And so are you guys.
Yeah.
What a great
Your
way
body
to end
belongs
things.
to you.
I love it. It does. And you know what? It's this or nothing, guys. So just try to enjoy yourselves. All right. Come back next week. See you soon. Peace. Universal appeal.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.